Now, a modern take on The Jungle Book is coming to the Pleasance Theatre after gaining recognition at the Edinburgh Fringe. The concrete Jungle Book sees a female Mowgli navigate tricky relationships, issues with housing, and trying to find herself in the backdrop of green spaces turning into cityscapes. Tanya has been speaking to the director and one of the cast about this rap and reggae-infused performance.
We wanted to keep the essence of the Jungle Book and the idea of this like feral child that like really struggles to like find a home and finds belonging and friendship and like parenting. So to do that, like we've really modernized it and put it in today. It sits in a world that's super contemporary and relevant to what our audiences are, which is, you know, young, non-white, first-time theatre goers who have never really had necessarily like full representation when it comes to going to the theatre. So what we've done is we've like given them a platform with a show that is like completely relevant to their lives today, but also offers a twist on a really like, you know, epic classic story that like you say, everybody really knows and finds like relevance with in their own lives.
Mowgli in this version of the show is a girl, so that already changes how we interact, like how we it just changes the dynamic of the show already. It's set in modern day, like set on the streets as opposed to the jungle, so that's already something that makes it, you know, super relatable to audiences of like contemporary London. And I guess the music is something that's a big key difference in our show. Like we've got grime, rap, reggae, like just like a whole variety of different genres that again are relatable to the people of today, but also especially the youth.
We have really worked hard to make this not like a remake of the Jungle Book. Like we were talking the other day, we could have very much called it something else, but we didn't, and we're kind of standing strong by the fact that it is a remake of the Jungle Book, even though it does go in very different directions to what people might be expecting with the work. So there's a lot of shocks and a lot of changes that we're always excited to share with people.
Some of those, or many of those, I imagine, shocks and twists are delivered on stage by you, Nikki, because you are playing the lead character of Mo. Tell us a bit about the storyline for Mo, what it was like taking on that character, and you don't have to give anything away, but some of the twists and turns that people might find most unexpected in Mo.
For me, it was quite a journey actually, because I remember at the start of the rehearsal process being like, oh, like, you know, this girl was homeless. She is put out on the streets by herself. She has to fend for herself. Like, I was like, oh, I'm so far away from her. And then I remember like throughout the process, like it got to a point where I had like a breakdown, because I was like, whoa, like I'm actually so similar. Like she's a lone wolf. She has a tough exterior. She keeps going. Very direct, like wears her heart on her sleeve kind of thing. And it was quite a shock. I was like, oh wow, like she's a lot more relatable than you think. And I think that's what's really nice about our version of it. It's like our characters are very fantastical, but their like struggles, their identities, everything's super relatable to everyday people. So yeah, I think her main objective in our version is to find community and to find her identity, because as much as she, like, what I like about her is that she knows what she deserves at such a young age. Like, it's more than I can say for myself at 16. Do you know what I mean?
Well, as well as that amazing storyline of her, you know, trying to come back to herself or even find herself, the play covers a lot of really important issues that loads of Londoners face. You mentioned there, you know, the one of not only finding your home in yourself, but actually having a home and the issue of homelessness. What are some of the main themes that, you know, that are explored in the play that you think Londoners today are actually also struggling with?
I guess it's good to give a bit of a backdrop about the work that we do with HighRise. So like we work with offering access to theatre and high art in a way that the communities that we work with often don't get those access points at the same time as some other people who are maybe come from a private school and are into like watching theatre and being told about theatre a lot earlier in their lives. So we offer that access point, and we're all trained youth workers as well as being directors and writers and actors, performers, rappers, like all of these things. But the core of our being and our essence is understanding what the challenges are for young audiences and young people who are interested in taking in stories and telling stories themselves. So throughout this show, like we've been working with young people who have only been in London for a week, like refugees, all the way to Londoners that were brought up, like born and bred in the city.
And just what the theatre landscape should be more like, you know? Because like it's just, yeah, because if I saw something like this when I was like those kids' age, like it just would have changed my whole outlook on like coming into this industry, the fact that I could, like, it just, you know, it's really special that this is something that we're all a part of.
There we go, Dominic and Nikki there, and the show is on at the Pleasance Theatre from next Wednesday, the 25th of May, until the 11th of June.